Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited. Today's video, we are going to talk about what a safe leave policy is and why you should have one in your workplace. Okay, so this is a really important topic for me, and I'm going to explain this, right? It's very important for me, and I'm excited to share with you why you should also consider this for your workplace, especially now, because the world of work is changing. Companies cannot go back to pre-COVID days. Now they have to think about how to change up their policies, how to create a more inclusive workplace, and how to really create a space that for their employees to make them feel safe, because it is the employer's responsibility to create a space for their employees that make them feel safe. And one thing that, well, one of many things that companies are struggling with is keeping their employees engaged, productive, performing, satisfied, because employers want to keep their employees for the long haul. Nobody wants to hire someone and spend all that money hiring someone. It's a little over what, $4,000 to hire an employee and then throw it away to go through the entire recruiting process all over again. Nobody goes into it like that. I know I don't, and I'm sure anybody watching this does not do the same thing either. So the reason why a safe leave policy is important is because it is going to create loyalty from your employee, and it's also going to help them be more productive, satisfied, happy, loyal, engaged, motivated, present. I could go on. So anyway, I'm so excited to talk about this video today. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel below so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I have so many in the pipeline. You do not want to miss this. Okay, let's do this. So as you already know, I am a domestic violence mentor. And aside from helping women escape abusive situations and help them develop their skills to help them get back into the workplace, one of the main projects that I am working on is creating a safe leave policy for the state of Pennsylvania. And currently, right now, only 2 cities in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, have a paid sick leave as well as a safe leave policy. So what a safe leave policy is it's geared towards domestic violence victims. Now, as we already know, I mean, if you watch the news, or I'm sure you've already heard it, domestic violence cases have surged during this crisis. And the reason being is because so many victims are quarantined with their abuser. So their safe space used to be being able to leave and go to work and be at work. That used to be their place where they can just kind of, I don't want to say relax, because as a victim, it's difficult to relax, right? But to get out of that place, that bubble where they're constantly abused and they feel like they're walking on eggshells and they live in fear. And now they are stuck in that place with their abuser, unable to go to work. But now workplaces are starting to reopen again and employees are going back into the workplace. So with that being said, employers and HR professionals, definitely HR, are tasked with looking at their current policies and seeing how they can revise them to meet the current needs of this new workplace dynamic, right? So one of the things that I think is crucial is to really think about this safe leave policy. And I'm going to kind of speak vaguely about it, not really get into specifics, because I know it varies state to state, city to city. I have been on the phone with the Department of Labor. I can't even tell you, I've been living on the phone with them and various other departments, just asking questions and getting familiar with everything that goes state to state and city to city, as well as statewide. It's really been a teaching moment for me as I draft this policy and as I prepare to I'll be training leaders across businesses on how to implement and enforce this policy. So a little bit more about this policy, what it is. When you think about a paid sick leave, employees that are not feeling well, they're sick, right? What they do is they request a paid sick day off. And what that means is they don't work, they don't go into work, and they get paid for that day off. What a safe leave is it's granting employees, whether paid or unpaid, that day, I would assume ideally paid, hopefully, I'll explain a little bit more, that day where they can go maybe to the courthouse to file a protection order, maybe to a doctor's appointment to seek medical help for maybe an abusive incident that has happened. It could be seeking out therapy or counseling from an organization such as maybe Turning Point of the Lehigh Valley or Women Against Abuse, or whatever one is in your city. It is going to court to maybe testify against your abuser, whatever the case is. I don't know. There's so many different things that are associated with it. I only know my specific case and a few others of women that I've been helping, so I don't really want to put anyone's personal business out there. But yes, there's so many different things that somebody would need a day off or time off of work to go do, but they're unable to do it because they don't have the time and they can't afford to take that time off. And after work or before work or whatever case is, they're not able to do because they're afraid of their abuser, and their abuser is on top of them, and whatever the case is. So having that time, having that support from the employer and giving them that time to go do what they need to do will help not only save a life, but it helps support that employee and helps them to get out of their situation. And so many employers, they don't understand the impact of what domestic abuse has on a victim when it comes to the workplace. As many people have known, I am a domestic violence survivor. I've broken the cycle about 5-ish years ago, and since then I have been giving back and helping other individuals break the cycle of domestic abuse and get into safe places, maybe shelter, whatever. I've been helping them build the confidence so that they can get back into the workplace. Because one of the things that many abusers do is they cut off a victim financially, and that prevents them from being able to leave the abuser. And so that means that many people are out of work, right? They're unable to work. They have to stay at home. Or if they do work, their paycheck is directly given to the abuser, and the abuser maybe has full control over all of the finances, right? So that again does not allow the victim to leave. So with my situation, right, I was stalked by my abuser. He would call my workplace. He would send me boxes of like pictures and things that he found, I don't know, that he thought of me. He would send it to my workplace. There was a point in time where one of my abusers, they were unemployed, and they would sit outside of my workplace, and wait for me. They would see where I went. And then if he was not able to do that, he would have his friends take pictures of my car, and me, and send it back to him to see where I was at. And it was a very interesting situation. He would pop into my work from time to time. And for me, what that would do is I was scared. As much as I tried to focus on my work and use it as a distraction because I was happy to kind of be in that safe space, right? I was petrified. All I could think about is, are my tires going to be slashed again? Is he going to cut my brakes again? Is he going to, chase me on the highway again? Is, he going to break into my apartment and be waiting for me again? There's just all these things that went through my mind. And you have to think about, these are going through your employees' minds too. There's this age-old thing that you need to keep your work and your personal life separate. But to be brutally honest with you and absolutely realistic, you cannot do that, especially as a domestic violence victim. And even more so if you have children and you're worried to death about how you're able to keep them safe because you're scared, you're petrified. So imagine what your employees are going through. It's impacting their happiness, their satisfaction, how they show up, the quality of their work. And what is that doing? That's impacting the team. That's impacting client results. That's impacting the profitability of the company, like the revenue, what the company is making financially. It impacts all these areas. But when you take the time, yes, I understand short term, it's it sucks, right? It sucks that, yeah, you know what? I have to grant this time to lose my employee for a couple hours to go to a doctor's appointment to because of something that happened not at work, at home, or because my employee has to go to a therapy appointment, or because they have to go to the courthouse for something on my time when I'm supposed to be making money off of them. But in the short term, yes, you're losing that time, but in the long term, think about what's going to happen. They're going to be more loyal to you. They're going to, go through therapy, get the healing that they need. They're going to get the support that they need to be able to break the cycle, get away from their ex or their intimate partner, right? And then because you were there to support them, to give them that time, to give them that space to do what they need to do, they're going to stick with you. And you're going to have an employee that stays with your company longer because you stuck with them during a very difficult time and you supported them and gave them that space for them to go to the courthouse to file that PFA against their abuser and to go to the court date that they need to go to testify against their abuser. And then you connected them with Turning Point in the Lehigh Valley or a domestic violence organization, so that they can seek help and, really break the cycle for good. And then you're going to see their work improve, the way that they show up improve. And because you didn't get rid of them right away because it was annoying that their abuser was calling the office all the time or sitting outside of the workplace. So to have the safe leave policy in place, not only does it have you protect the employee, but it helps you protect other employees as well. Because another portion of this policy is what are you going to do when the abuser shows up at the workplace, right? So you have to have a plan in place. What are you going to do when the abuser starts calling the workplace? You got to have a plan in place, right? So this safe leave policy, what it does is it addresses this situation of domestic violence and how it impacts the employees of the workplace. Because one person, it's like a domino effect, right? One person's attitude, sour attitude, can impact an entire team, which can then bleed into other teams that can take over the workplace. Well, just think about the one bad apple. You have one bad apple, done. Like it spreads. Think about one person who comes into work and they just had an altercation with their abuser, right? Their abuser came after them, whatever the case is, and they're forced to come into work. And, they have no other options. They're not able to take any time to go to the courthouse or to seek help or counseling or whatever the case is. They go into work. They have a sour attitude. All they can think about is this. They can't stop crying. They're probably living in the bathroom, crying their eyes out, thinking, why me? Why me? What am I going to do with my life? Why am I stuck like this? I feel so alone. Nobody supports me. Then they go back to their desk, staring at their screen after they have all these bloodshot red eyes of crying. Then they're worried about, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it another day? How am I going to get by? Should I start searching for another job, because I can't do this anymore? All these things go through their head. And it should be your responsibility as an employer to provide a safe space for your employees and to provide the resources that they need to be well. So this safe leave policy is crucial. And I think as any employer, any human resources professional, you should really look into implementing one into your workplace and communicating it often. If this is something you have a question with, please reach out. I know I'm vague with this, and I'm trying not to get myself into too much trouble to be talking about specifics because it truly does vary city to city and state to state, as I've learned, and I don't want to say anything that could put me into a hole, right? If I know I'm speaking towards Pennsylvania, but I also know many of my YouTube subscribers are not always from Pennsylvania. And also, I'm currently in the process of moving back to Massachusetts. So Massachusetts and Pennsylvania have two completely different ways that they operate in the workplace. So yeah, trying to be as vague as possible, but please comment below if you have any questions, and you can definitely reach out to me. My link to my website is in the description of this video, and you can always send me an email as well and reach out with any questions that you may have. But I think it's important that you truly think about implementing a safe leave policy into your workplace. And you can look into more specifics regarding that. You can reach out, we could talk about it more. Currently, like what the policy I'm creating looks like. And just really how to implement and enforce that into your workplace, because enforcing it and implementing it, that, definitely takes a plan, and you are going to need to communicate that over and over and over again. And yeah, so it's more in depth than that, but I thought it was important just to bring this to your attention, so that you can start really thinking about that for your workplace. So anyway, so this video, I talked to you about what a safe leave policy is, why you should have it in place. Again, please have a little bit of empathy and understanding of what domestic violence victims go through. It is difficult to show up to work 100% after being living with an abuser, dealing with an abuser, being stalked, being harassed, especially in the workplace, even outside the workplace. So we are no longer in this time where we'll keep personal life separate from professional life. That is just not possible. That is not possible. And I absolutely do not believe that. You have to figure out as an employer a way to meet your employees halfway and to provide the support and resources that they need. I'm not saying show up as their counselor. I'm saying connect them with the right places and give them that space where they can take advantage of it. And understand that an abuser will not allow a victim to go seek that help. That's the exact opposite of what an abuser wants someone to do. They want to have them under their thumb at all times. They want to have full and complete control over that person. So, again, this is really heated for me. I'm very, very passionate about this. It took me a very, very long time to gain the courage to break the cycle and escape my last abuser. And every single time that I have left an abusive relationship, it was never, ever, ever easy. Never easy. And I just want to let you know, I understand not a lot of people watching this video understands the severity of domestic violence and how it can completely shatter your life. And, just leaving, it's not that simple. It is never that simple at all. Every single time I have tried to leave my abuser, they have come after me and tried to kill me. Let that sink in. Whether that's sitting outside a workplace, whether that's cutting my brakes, whether that's breaking into my house and coming after me. There are many, many instances. So just keep that in mind. Yes, you may think, oh, just another policy. Oh, why should I care? Blah, blah, blah. There's so much help out there. But you, as their employer, spend the most time with your employee. This should be a priority for you, especially now. Imagine how many people are coming out of quarantine and returning back to the workforce after being quarantined with their abuser. Imagine how much worse that abuse has gotten since this lockdown. Could you imagine? Now is the time to think about this policy and putting one into place. And I promise you, the benefits of implementing this policy will be worth your while in all areas of your business. And you'll have a loyal employee for life because they will know that you cared about them. You cared about their well-being. You cared about more than them just being a number and bringing you money into your business. So if you have any questions, reach out. Feel free to comment below. This is a very important topic, and I'm happy to speak with anyone a little bit more in depth. So I will talk to you later. Until my next YouTube video. Bye.